This would be an interesting battle. Ryu versus Jin. Street Fighter versus Tekken. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that one. Who will win in that battle? I would maybe Jin because of the devil powers. But Ryu, if he turns to evil, man, I always, before I play the video of the death battles, I like to choose one, and I always do. I finished playing the Tekken 8 story mode, and we saw the powers of like Devil Kazuya and Jin. I mean, Devil Kazuya could, dang, I don't know the extent of their powers, like how far they can go with their evil side. That's where I'm confused. I'm like, head up. Outside of that, I'm a Street Fighter fan first before Tekken, but I would say outside of their evil powers, I would say Jin might win that battle. All right, I'm gonna say Jin. I'm a Street Fighter fan. Don't get me wrong. First, I've always loved Street Fighter. Is the first video fighting game I ever played, and I always will have love for it. But head up, Jin versus Ryu without the extra powers of the evil powers and the devil powers. I would say Jin. Just from what I'm thinking about right now of them two. Yeah, I would say Jin. But with everything put together, yeah, I still would say Jin. I could be wrong. Well, I might even change my answer when we look at this death battle. But shout out to them. I'll put the original video in the description below. Let me know what y'all think. Who y'all going to choose for this battle here? Jin versus Ryu. I already did a Ryu versus Scorpion, and I was right. I said Scorpion, and Scorpion did win. Now let's see between this one here. Jin versus Ryu. Let me make sure I like the video. All right, here we go. I don't really know this answer.
Everyone has different reasons for studying martial arts. For personal honor, to improve health,
and for kicking the crap out of the other people, like with Ryu, the wandering world warrior of Street Fighter.
And Jin Kazuma, the power-hungry martial arts master of Tekken.
Whoever wins, I don't care. I love them both.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. He's the hero the world never knew. His name means prosperous, plentiful, and abundant. He is the wandering warrior.
I didn't know that's what his name meant.
Ryu.
That's a pretty epic introduction for a hobo.
Orphaned at a young age, Ryu was adopted by the martial arts master Gouken. Under Gouken's training and beside his fellow student Ken Masters, Ryu was trained in the art of Ansatsuken,
aka the Assassination Fist. This ancient fighting style was specifically designed for murder, which automatically makes it the best martial art ever.
Well, Gouken actually taught Ryu a slightly altered variant of the Ansatsuken. Inspired by karate, kenpo, and judo, Gouken's version was a generally non-lethal one.
Oh, lame.
But the deadly side of the martial art lived on in Gouken's brother, Akuma, who would ultimately prove to be Gouken's downfall. One day, Ryu and Ken returned to their dojo to find their master dead.
Kind of. He got better later. But Ryu didn't know that, so he swore to wander the earth perfecting his abilities until he could take down Akuma himself.
With the Ansatsuken style, Ryu is a master at close quarter combat. With such techniques as the Shoryuken uppercut and the flying hurricane kick, he can take down most foes in mere seconds.
He's like a living helicopter of pain. But he can also use his ki as a weapon, firing a fireball of energy from his palms. Say it with me, Hadouken!
Gouken's version of the Ansatsuken also taught Ryu several defensive techniques, including the skill to parry most other attacks with precise timing.
And with all these awesome powers of whooping ass, Ryu eventually made his way to the World Warrior Tournament.
With his skills, Ryu quickly reached the top of the competition. For the title of World Warrior, he faced his toughest opponent yet, Sagat,
who ended up beating the shit out of him. But Sagat was surprisingly a pretty good sport, so
obviously don't know much that much of the story of Street Fighter. I didn't know that was his biggest opponent.
Something dark swelled from within Ryu's consciousness. A force so fierce and destructive, he couldn't contain it, and he lashed out.
Also, that's how Sagat got the scar? I did not know that. Yeah, I need to rewatch it. Or either I didn't know or I forgot, because I watched the movie, so I just forgot.
Was the Satsui no Hado.
A violent inner force so extreme, its name actually means surge of murderous intent. If I ever knowingly father a child, I know what I'm naming him.
Under the influence of the Satsui no Hado, Ryu falls into an uncontrollable rage known as Evil Ryu, where his physical and spiritual power skyrockets.
He can even teleport and use Akuma's favorite technique, the Shungoku Satsu, which literally translates to instant hell murder. Okay, shit,
What a
now
name.
I gotta have 2 kids that I care about.
The Shungoku Satsu, or the Raging Demon, is a fatal move which attacks the very soul of its victims with the gravity of all their past sins.
To make them die 1,000 deaths.
But while the Satsui no Hado is a manifestation of Ryu's dark side, he has achieved balance with the light. This is called Mu no Ken, or the power of nothingness.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense. What's he gonna do with nothing?
By focusing on mental and spiritual refinement and detachment, Ryu has achieved the ultimate state of being. This begets a power strong enough to match and even surpass the Satsui no Hado.
Oh yeah, that's how Goken survived Akuma's hell murder attack. And now Ryu's got the same power. Look at him go.
With all this power, Ryu's performed some incredible feats. Aside from winning the World Warrior Tournament, he's dodged bullets, destroyed skyscrapers, and survived Balrog's Gigaton blow.
Yeah, remember him from that boxing match we did? He's strong enough to kill an elephant in 1 punch. Ryu is so
Dang.
tough that he's survived getting impaled. And when he goes evil mode, he can just walk through gunfire.
He's strong enough to lift this enormous boulder over his head. By estimating the boulder's volume compared to Ryu's height and assuming a
I wonder
sandstone
if Jin could do
composition,
stuff like
we
that.
can determine it must weigh at least 36
I mean, I know when he turns to
tons.
the devil version,
Plus,
it's very
there's a guy
strong.
sitting on top of the boulder, and he's lifting
But
his
Ryu's
own
doing that
boulder.
without the
Man,
other
Oro's
power,
cool.
evil
While
side.
Ryu's fighting record isn't perfect, his wins far outnumber his losses. He's defeated his friend Ken, the dictator M. Bison, and even a genetically engineered super warrior named Seth.
But those were just pit stops compared to his frequent battles with Akuma. And if you don't know, Akuma shattered an island with a single punch, split Ayers Rock in half in Australia, and jumped to the ocean surface from 4,000 feet below in 3 seconds while destroying a submarine.
That's about
Yeah, I need to do some
3,000
more
miles
research
per
on
hour,
this Street
by
Fighter,
the way.
bro.
And I guess he
That's
just
the first
powered
game I
through
ever
the
played,
bends.
but
Yeah, he's
I didn't know all this
definitely
stuff what
final boss
Akuma
material.
did.
And so,
Ryu did.
years after Akuma's
I
attack
forgot
on
about
his
the
foster
battle with
father,
Sagat.
Ryu faced him for the final time. And with the power of Mu no Ken on his side, Ryu was victorious.
All in a day's work for everyone's favorite Street Fighter.
You had the power to actually defeat that beast. Now show it to me.
M.
Power
Bison.
is not your defeat.
It's my biggest enemy in the actual Street Fighter 6 game.
The power
It
to
is so
push
hard to beat him.
forward.
I have no shame. That's
If
my
you met
weakness
Jin
is M.
Kazuma
Bison.
when he was just a boy, you wouldn't figure he'd grow up to be one of the most dangerous men to ever live.
Unless you already knew about his super deadly and super crazy family.
Jin was raised by his single mother, who taught him the Kazuma family-style martial arts after his father abandoned them.
Story of my life. No, really, those training days with Mama Boomstick were some of the best times of my life.
One day, Jin's mother sensed a great evil approaching. She told him that if anything were to happen to her, he should seek out his grandfather, Heihachi Mishima.
Right on cue, a big-ass ogre showed up and attacked him. When Jin came to, his mom and Shrek were nowhere to be seen. Don't you hate it how moms are always right?
Thankfully, it wasn't too difficult for Jin to find Heihachi.
Yeah, he's super rich and has a really tall building. Kinda hard to miss.
So rich, in fact, that Heihachi owned a multinational conglomerate empire with its own banking, weaponry, military forces, and, just for kicks, a martial arts tournament.
Whoa! Why didn't Mom tell him about this? Time to collect on those missing Christmas presents, Granddad.
Well, she also forgot to mention
That was
that
a classic
Heihachi
movie.
is a terrible father who's obsessed with throwing his own son off cliffs. Nobody's perfect, I guess.
Regardless, under Heihachi's guidance, Jin trained and perfected the Mishima Ryu fighting style. With 2 types of martial arts mastered, he's got all sorts of techniques that can pack a punch.
Such as the flash punch combo and the electrically charged lightning screw uppercut.
Or his famous 10-hit combo chain. Once he gets you stuck in his flurry of punches and kicks, you're not going anywhere until he finishes you off with a classic dragon uppercut.
With these talents and a thirst for revenge, Jin entered his grandfather's King of Iron Fist tournament. There, he came face to face
King
with the
of
ogre
Iron
once
Fist
again.
tournament.
But instead of, interrogating him to find out what happened to his mother, Jin just killed him. Nice job, stupid. There goes the only lead you had.
And nothing tastes better than sweet, sweet revenge. Except for maybe
I think
Mom's
Tekken 8 did a
cooking.
good job
Well,
showcasing that tournament. I thought that was cool.
Last long, cause he got shot up by his grandfather. Oh, that son of a bitch! Mama always said never trust a bald man who tells his barber, "Give me the Wolverine."
But Jin had a little surprise for Heihachi, and for himself actually. Thanks to his family line, he has inherited the dreaded and parasitic Devil Gene.
Which turns him into a flying, laser-shooting demon person. Now that's one genetic disorder you
Now
can
here's
sign
we
me
see
up
that
for.
all the
Good news
details
then.
of the
I've been
Devil
working
Gin
on an
and see if it
artificial
compares to
digestible version of
Ryu
the Devil Gene myself.
evil side.
Oh yeah? Would that happen to be the chewy fruit candy in the blue bucket?
What did you do?
Well, my dog Jack Spaniels was wandering around scrounging for food as he does, and I was wondering why he suddenly grew horns and wings.
You've got to be shitting me.
Anyway, compared to his base form, Devil Jin's strength, speed, and durability are better than ever.
Devil Jin is strong enough to throw people dozens of feet and even smash them through walls. For this instance in particular, he's pushing Heihachi through the limestone wall of an Aztec pyramid. To do this, Jin must have struck the wall with force equal to at least 10 tons per square inch.
But Ryu did hold a
Jin
bow,
is stronger than this
a
guy
big old
called
rock,
Raven, who can toss
so his
around
strength is
this
pretty
giant war
combative
robot
too.
named Nancy.
When compared to real-life robots of similar size,
Ryu did
and
that
come
without
for
turning to
additional
evil,
weaponry
so
and
the
gear,
evil.
this machine
Sorry for
should
starting
weigh
the evil
anywhere
side.
between 15 to 30 tons. Also, Jin is fast enough to dodge bullets and fly into orbit,
And survive falling all the way back down.
which puts his maximum flight speed over escape velocity. That's more than 25,000 miles per hour.
He can even punch so fast he causes shock waves. That's right, Jin throws punches faster than the speed of sound. Remind me never to give him a high five.
Totally reasonable, considering his grandfather can catch bullets in his teeth from just 20 feet away.
And surely Jin can do better than that.
Really? I didn't know
He doesn't
that.
even have the Devil Gene.
That's right, the Devil Gene traces back not to Heihachi, but to Jin's grandmother.
Who freaking rides tigers?
As a result, Heihachi's son Kazuya inherited the Devil Gene and passed it on to Jin.
Kazuya's powers are basically the same as Jin's, and he's shown just how far the devil form can go. He's shot a blast powerful enough to erupt a volcano and survived a satellite laser straight out of Independence Day.
This is the same laser that once shot the robotic soldier Gunjack. By measuring the blast radius and resulting devastation,
I don't know
the
if
laser's
Ryu can
firepower
survive that.
appears to
That's-
equal 3.7 megatons of TNT.
You know the bomb that
That's
got
pretty
dropped on
powerful. I don't know.
Nagasaki
Maybe
in
I'm
World
right. Maybe
War the
Jin does
sequel?
win it, 'cause-
Yeah, this laser's like 176 of those hitting all at once.
Yeah, I
While
don't
the
know if
Devil
Ryu
Gene
can survive
sometimes
something like
be
that.
difficult for Jin to control, it provides an enormous advantage against almost any foe.
With it, he's won 3 of the 4 King of Iron Fist tournaments he's entered. He's defeated Heihachi, Kazuya, and even the supposed OG Devil Man himself, Azazel. Too bad he had to start World War II sequel just to find him. Kind of a dick move.
Jin's certainly no angel, and hardly a hero. Still, when it comes down to it, he is the child of destiny, and not even the devil's blood can seal his fate.
Can't you understand? All this fighting is pointless. It's never gonna end.
It will end with this bloodline. And that is why I fight.
All right, the
Yeah,
combatants
that
are
ending
set.
part
Let's
was
end this
Jin can
debate
survive.
once and for all.
I think
But
that gives him an
first, all this
advantage.
talk of gin is making
So I
me
think
wanna
I'm
pour a
staying.
glass
Well, I
and
can't change
eat
my
some
answer,
delicious
but
blueberry.
who knows? Maybe I'm still wrong. Maybe there's something that I'm missing here with Ryu.
There's no way I can lose. Talk is cheap. The answer lies in the heart of battle.
Round 1. Yeah, unless I missed something about Ryu, I don't see him winning this when they transform. Well, this is still a warm-up. They ain't transformed yet. They ain't go all out. I like this choreography though. That's cool to show his parrying skills. That's pretty sick. These animations are pretty nice. The fact they did that themselves.
You could do better than that. Come on.
I shall show you fear.
Oh, here we go. I bet he's gonna beat him down, then Evil Ryu's gonna show up.
You insect!
Here we go. Alright, now, let's see if I'm right or wrong. I just don't think Evil Ryu's attacks is strong enough like that that satellite beam that Jin got hit with when they was explaining. This choreography is really nice though. It's not sloppy at all. With straight combat, they're even. It's just Jin can take more, I'm assuming. Oh, that's right. That's right. I've been sitting here focused on Evil Ryu so much, I forgot about this. Oh, that's blood?
I walk the path of the true warrior.
So that's stronger than the satellite. Okay, I gotta hear this.
I get why it's called the power of nothingness now. There's nothing left in his chest.
This one was a tricky match to decipher. Both Ryu and Jin had many displays of incredible feats, but very few truly showcased the upper limits of their power. We know that in their base forms, both could lift around 30 tons and move at supersonic speeds. Also, we know Ryu could maintain a much better level of control and discipline in Muno Ken than Jin in Devil form.
Yeah, hardcore Tekken fans know he had pretty good control over it in that Blood Vengeance movie, but it's pretty inconsistent with game canon. Even Tekken's creator has said it's not canon.
Also, Jin's fall from orbit feat was impressive, but it is hard to quantify due to its presentation. Even if we assume we are to take it literally, a man of Jin's size landing at terminal velocity would equal around 18 tons of force.
But to find their limits, we had to scale them to comparable characters.
Scaling Jin to his father Kazuya was logical. Kazuya survived that 3.7 megaton laser blast, and it's clear it was necessary for him to be in devil form to do so.
That's what I was thinking.
Kazuya's own laser blast was strong enough to help kick off a volcano's eruption.
Hold on.
A feat which 18
But yeah, that's what I was thinking about was the
But
beam,
to find
was the
their
laser
limits, we had
attack.
to scale them to comparable characters.
He
Scaling
survived
Jin
that.
to his father Kazuya was logical. Kazuya survived that 3.7 megaton laser blast, and it's clear it was necessary for him to be in devil form to do so. Kazuya's own laser blast was strong enough to help kick off a volcano's eruption, a feat which could require up to 100 megatons of TNT. But that's a very generous estimate, and its actual potency is likely much less.
Since their power comes from the same place, and Jin's even defeated Kazuya before, it's safe to say Jin can do all this too. As for Ryu, we knew exactly who we had to scale him to. Let's talk about Akuma.
First off, just to prove this scaling is reasonable, Ryu and Akuma share very similar abilities. Both were trained in the Otsutsuken fighting style, and both possessed the Satsui no Hado. They fought each other several times, and when the story was all said and done, Ryu emerged ultimately victorious based on his skill alone.
Now that that's out of the way, let's watch Akuma punch an island to death.
With a single strike, Akuma managed to break apart an entire island
That
so
is true.
thoroughly that Ryu, who was on the island, was left floating helplessly in nearly clear water. Assuming the island is somewhat circular, we've estimated the volume and deduced that in order to fragment the island like this, Akuma's punch must have been over 400 megatons of TNT.
That's more than 4 times stronger than anything a Devil Gene has pulled off. And Ryu takes blows from this guy all the time.
Sure, Ryu wasn't getting hit with 400 megatons every time Akuma landed a punch, but the most a Devil Gene carrier has ever survived amounts to less than 1% in comparison. Even if Jin could survive a strike as strong as Kazuya's volcano feat, it still pales in comparison. The fact that Ryu survived being on the island as it was blown apart helps justify this scaling too.
Well, Jin still takes the speed advantage with that flight into orbit, but it doesn't mean much when the difference of power and toughness is this massive.
When it came down to it, Ryu's strength, durability, and control were just too far out of Jin's reach.
Wait, Wiz, we forgot a feat. You remember that gun Jack robot? A later model of Jack once destroyed a meteor. Couldn't we just scale Jin to that?
Well, it's unsupported by canon material, but even if we did, guess who destroyed an even bigger meteor?
Akuma?
Akuma.
Damn. Well, Jin up, everybody. Ryu taking
I was
care
wrong.
of business.
The winner is Ryu.
I'm curious to see what the comments say about that. Is that it?
Thanks for watching. If you guys want exclusive.
All right, I was wrong on it. I mean, when I saw him survive that laser beam from outer space, I was like, okay, there's nothing. I mean, what Ryu did was impressive, but there was nothing that he could do to defeat Jin until they broke that down of how strong that power is that Ryu had. Hold on. Ryu had peace and harmony, while Jin had rage and vengeance. Ryu overcame his dark side. Jin never did. Let's admit it. The power of nothingness is basically Ultra Instinct. Yeah, I guess I see what you mean on that. Other way around. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Ryu came first. Ultra Instinct came after the power of nothingness. But yeah. Yeah, alright. So, Ryu is the winner. Let me know in the comments if that's what you chose. Like I said, it didn't matter to me who won. I like them both. But I did learn a lot more than I knew about Ryu and Jin. So I didn't know Jin survived all that. But also I didn't know that power of nothingness. I totally forgot about the power of nothingness of Ryu. Even when they explained it the first time, I was like, oh, because the only thing I really remembered is when it came to his transformation was the evil Ryu situation. I totally forgot. And I also forgot about the battle he had with Sagat. I gotta rewatch the Street Fighter movie. Yeah, that was my first video game, fighting game, but I totally forgot about that. I forgot that's what started the Scar of Sagat, which, by the way, I hope they have him in Street Fighter 6 eventually. Sagat was one of my favorites. But anyway, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Shout out to Death Battle. I will put their video in the link below or description below. And thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'll see you later.